Good morning, folks. It is approximately 10 a.m. Central Standard Time on October the 27th, 2022. Hope our crew is keeping you well and safe wherever you are in the world. Please make sure to hit that like button and share this across other social media platforms so we can let people know what's going on our sun and the effects it can have here on our planet. We are currently going to start off over at ISWA, as you can see up here, iswa.gsfc.nasa.gov, and we're going to take a look at our sun. We're looking at the GO-16 satellite at 304 angstroms of light. And we are going to see a spectacular event, something I have not seen before. Granted, we've seen plenty of plasma filaments dance like this on the northern hemisphere, right? We've seen this. But just wait. There's more. As we actually advance it, we see it getting recaptured. Then we see this one here dancing. Watch down here. There's the initial eruption. And then a bigger eruption. Bam. At the same time that this one's dancing off. We've had double eruption, double plasma filaments on opposite sides. That's something I've never seen before. So we're definitely going to need to start paying way more attention to these sunspots that are coming around the eastern limb that are going to be facing us. Because, yeah, they might have something in store for us. Yikes. Now we're going to come over here and look at the 304 on the SDO satellite. But before we get started with it, I want to take a peek at this right here. Look at this. We got a little friend right here. Zip. Got another sun grazing, not a comet, but a UFO, because it's not curving into it. It's going scooting right by. You can see there's definitely a propulsion coming off the back end. Sun being the largest magnetic object in our solar system, so it should be pulling it towards it. Well, how is it going straight on by? Well, it's because it's got propulsion. It's not affected by the magnetic draw or field by the sun, because it's got its own magnetic protective shield which allows it to go by. So now that we got that little guy out of the way, let's go ahead and start over from the beginning. And this goes from yesterday, and we're going to watch the eruption here on the SDO. We can already see the bubbling up here on both sides. Quite the event, to be honest with you. But we don't have anything coming towards us, so that's the good part. Okay, so but we do need to watch out. Now we do have some coronal holes. I'll show you guys the coronal holes here in a minute. We're going to take a look over here at the SDO 300, or yeah, excuse me, LASCO C3. And we've actually got quite a bit here. We've got some UFOs here. We can see one here. We can see his little trail behind him. His little flood that comes off behind him. And this right here is Venus. Okay, and this right here, this white circle here is, of course, the sun, and then the occulter disk that covers it, so that way we can actually see the coronal mass ejections. It starts off from the 25th. And then we'll cut. Oop, look at this. We've got another one shooting straight down, going by the sun, not drawing into it, but going right by the sun. One of my previous videos, I showed you the difference between a comet and a UFO. So those of you who are new, please go check it out. You'll see the difference. And we've actually got a Borg cube, folks. Believe it or not. And it should be poking up right about there. There we are. There we go. We've got ourselves a Borg cube. And as many of you know, they have light bending technology. They can bend light. So they're bending the light around so that way we can't see it. This right here is a Borg cube. Looks like we got another UFO right here. This I'm not too sure about. But that, yeah, looks like we got a small one. But we're going to also watch the eruption here. And if you guys come here to SDO, once again, this is LASCO C2. You guys would be able to see this eruption here. So as we had the one eruption here that we saw coming off of the 304, we had another one here off the backside that went the opposite direction that we weren't able to see on this. So the sun is starting to wake up again. Oh, we've got some form of UFO activity right here. We've got one right there. And this is all plasma that we just watched leave the sun. Now we also do have solar winds that we have to contend with. Okay, we're going to come over and look at the LASCO C3, I believe. Yeah, the red one's LASCO C2, this is LASCO C3. Yes. So we're going to watch here. Now once again, this is Venus back here. Okay, back in the cut, just kind of hanging out. And we've got all kinds of zipping bys, all kinds of UFO activity. There's another one right here. And we're going to watch that eruption on here. And there's the eruption coming off the backside, and there was the one off of this side. Oh, look, we got another UFO over here. They're everywhere, folks. Activity is definitely coming up. Now, I want to show you guys this. This right here, see this right here? This is them bending light. Okay, that Borg cube that I showed you, he's actually right here. And sometimes they can actually hide themselves when they project the light bending. But he's actually sitting right here in this little pocket. and he's projecting a light bend because there was something here they didn't want you to see. Or actually, it would have been over here, because look at this. It doesn't move. We're seeing a 12-minute difference, and the only thing that's moving is this. This isn't moving at all. See? So, there's another, some form of spacecraft. Don't know what that is. Some kind of vessel. And that was our eruption. We're going to look at it here at stereo ahead. But here, we're going to start off on the 25th. And there is a lot of UFOs here on stereo ahead. Not quite like the armadas that I've seen, but we've got one here right next to the satellite. And then here he is over here. Check him out. He went from here to over here in 12 minutes. How in the world are they moving that fast? How fast is that? I don't know, but that's fast as I'll get out. Here's another one right there. And as we proceed to our eruption, now this is Venus coming into the screen. Now I also want you guys to notice he just all of a sudden appears. Look at the difference in time. From 1953 on the 26th to 10:23 UTC time today. What's going on here? Why are we missing so much data? That's 10, 14, 15 hours of data missing. Uh-oh. What are you doing, NASA? Why are you taking that stuff off of there? Here's another UFO right here. And there's another one right here. Actually, looks like there might be two of them there. But that's all I got on here today. Let's go take a look at some coronal holes, shall we? But before we get there, take a look at this, folks. We're looking at our real-time solar wind. We're over here at Solarham. You can see our B's and our BT. Looks like we did not really get into an event. Looks like we were in an event earlier, but we have actually recovered out of it. But I want you guys to take a look at this density. See how the density is just like riding along the bottom of this thing, and then it kind of scoots up to this line right here. Well, what is that line? Well, that line is 20. But why are they showing all the way up to 120? Well, we actually got smacked with about 115 centimeters cubed of plasma for a moment. What in the heck could have smacked our ionosphere with 115 centimeters cubed of plasma? I mean, check this out. We come up here almost to 20, and then pow, we jump way up here. Wow, that's pretty interesting. Normally, you don't see the scale up this high unless we have something move up there, and we did, and it's right here. So that's kind of discerning. And then, of course, we have our kilometers per second, and we are slowly waning down, and then right back up again, because we are going to be getting affected by our solar wind coming up here pretty soon, which is coming off of this guy right here. We've got three coronal holes, and these are going to be causing solar winds, and they're going to be impacting the Earth. So if you happen to be an aurora watcher, you're definitely going to want to be outside with your cameras and your camcorders, because you're going to be able to get some this weekend. Now, coming over here to SWPC, Space Weather Prediction Center.noaa.gov. Again, we can take a look at these coronal holes that we've got going on here. And as you can see, they're pretty deep. And we've got a little bit of interruption here, almost like when you've got a water hose and then you kind of stick your thumb over the water hose, it kind of increases the pressure. We could also have an increase in speed. So I have a feeling that impact is going to be pretty significant. And once again, aurora watchers this weekend. Now, as we come on down here, yesterday we did have a C flare, a decent sized C flare, but we did not get into M, and it did not have any releasing of coronal mass ejection or plasma in our direction. And then coming over here to the enthusiast dashboard, we're going to come on down here. These right here are our sunspots that we're keeping an eye on. We can see we got a little cluster of 3 here. One large hole, but it needs friends to play with, and I'm not seeing any friends at this moment. But this one's got friends. These guys are friends, so we'll have to keep our eyes open for that. Coming on down here. Come on, keep on coming. Here we go. Now, once again, right here, we're looking at our sunspot number progression for the year. This is what was predicted, because based on our past, they were predicting it to be a minimum, but guess what? We are totally outdoing ourselves. Now, this is just sunspot numbers. Okay, then you come down here and check this out. This is the actual radio flux progression. Okay, the highest peak of this was predicted 135, and we are currently at 134.7. We're not even to 2025 yet. So, yeah, this is going to be shooting way up here. And that's going to be interesting. Come over here to spaceweatherlive.com. We're actually over here looking at our solar cycle progression. What I was just showing you. Once again, this is here showing where they were predicting for our sunspot number, 115. But we're currently at 96. But as you can see, this right here is where they're trying to do like a blend between what they were predicting. but from what it's showing, it's looking like we're going to be way up here. Now, if you follow this all the way up, follow that line before we get to 25 here, which is like right smack in the middle of it, yeah, that's going to put us way up here if it stays on its track like it's going. So we're going to have over 300 sunspots. That's a lot of plasma, folks. And then coming down here to our solar cycle progression of radial flux, they actually took this one down because they didn't want the public to panic. I've showed you guys in some videos before. We were way up here. We were over 250. Okay, for centimeters cubed. So we will have to see what is in store for us. Last but not least, we are over here at spaceweather.com, and they're actually talking about a smiley face. And I'm sure you can see the two eyes and the smiley face on the sun, which is kind of cute. I mean, there are some of us that have eyes to see and ears to hear, and some of us see patterns in different things. And yeah, you can definitely see a smiley face here, which is it's kind of cute to admit to see it. I've seen other faces, and I've shown you guys those a number of times, if I'm not mistaken. Here we're looking at Comet Enki. Yes, Enki, as in the Anunnaki brother of Enlil, who is god of the Bible. We have a comet named Enki that is actually on its way past Jupiter as we speak. Actually, I believe it's just past Jupiter. So that's something to keep in mind. Now, we also have this coming up for Halloween. We've got the Torrid Swarm. We're going to have some fireballs, basically little meteors that are going to be coming into Earth's atmosphere. We go through this meteor shower regularly, so keep your eyes out on Halloween. We're going to have quite a bit. But more importantly for me, I come down here to check this out. These right here are comets, asteroids, and meteors that are coming close to Earth. Earth is this little blue ball right above the little finger here, and I do track this. Now, we don't have anything major that's going to be super close. Lunar distance, this is what this is. LD is lunar distance. This is how fast it's traveling in kilometers per second, and this is how big it is in meters. Now, the one that does have me somewhat alarmed, see, this one's 4.6 times the distance between us and the moon. So that's how the lunar distance works. It's 46 meters, and that's not so bad. This is the one that's got me still keeping my eyeballs on it. November 23rd, only 3 lunar distances, 13.5 kilometers per second, which is pretty quick, by the way, and it's 168 meters. As it gets closer, we might actually be able to see this. This might burst out into a tail like a comet, and so we will have to keep our eyes out for that to see what happened. On a little side note, 13.5 kilometers per second is 30,198 miles per hour. Now, that sounds really fast to us here on Earth, but in space, it's not super fast, even though it's moving at a pretty steady clip. I mean, but we've got some that are going 28.8, 11.5. I mean, there are some 23.5, so there are some that do move faster, but that's moving pretty decent, so we might actually get a comet tail out of it. But we will see. So keep your eyes open, folks. No fear. And remember that love is the only way forward. Solar Wolf out.